Welcome in, everybody. Jeremy is back for an edition of the Four Down the Field podcast. Jeremy, I missed you. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing great. I've missed you. We're already midway through November, the 15th. Gun season for all the hunters out there. Rob, it's getting serious here in college football, in the NFL, and especially fantasy football.
Yes.
We're heating up here toward the well, we're definitely in the back half of the season, but the back quarter basically is creeping up. So almost
Yeah, man.
playoff time, baby.
Yeah, man. It's week 11. Like, this is where the playoff seedings get interesting. We've been talking about it now. It's going to start playing more into certain tiers in the league now, and then fighting for seeds, obviously. But yeah, first year of the 12-team college football playoff. Lions, obviously, right now 8-1. Football is good right now, even if you're a Michigan or a Michigan State fan. But Jeremy, this is the Four Down the Field podcast. Let's get into a recap of last week. Now, let's start out with our matchup, Jeremy. You won the matchup. We're going to talk about your team, but because you won, why don't you can start?
Rob, what can I say? We both started off projected to get what in the 130s. It looked like a great showdown, and we couldn't even get in the hundreds. So I definitely got lucky. Probably one of the luckier wins of the year, winning only scoring 97. Yeah, I mean, look at my team. Same issue. Running backs suck. Jaden Daniels didn't get anything. I guess if I played Russell, I would have been more respectable at 120, but that's still low. But yeah, just getting 10 points basically out of your running back sucks. And yeah, for you, it's like, Goff had his 5 picks. We saw an amazing Lions win. But Monty did all right. But yeah, it's low scoring game for both of us. Uh yeah, that's all I got. I got lucky. What's your thoughts?
Well, I'll say this. I would have much rather if you scored like 170 and we
Right.
scored 91 because I actually had a chance. I knew I was having an off week. Both of us did, obviously, but it doesn't matter. You got the win. It didn't matter if it was 160 to 159 or 97 to 91. Didn't matter. It was a barn burner, baby, and big win for you, Jeremy. We're gonna talk about your team here in a little bit. Moving on to the next matchup, we had Jeff. He edged, I guess you could say, Jim Giggity. But Jeff did win 129 to 84 and a half. Um,
What do you think the greatest
did
move
Jeff did
was?
Jeff not play a wide receiver?
That's probably the greatest flex in the history of our league, really.
Damn, that's cold, dude. I honestly didn't know that.
No,
Wow.
I remember seeing that and thought, wow, bold strategy, Cotton.
Oh, you want to know what? I bet he had Nico in maybe, then he had not playing, and he didn't have anybody, couldn't drop anybody. I think that's probably what happened. But
Well,
it was one of those CMC situations.
here's the thing. Jeff is the number one team. He's been dominating. He's already clinched a spot. We haven't had any guests. We need Jeffrey to come on next week to talk about what he thinks. How's his team doing? How's he been so dominant? And then
Yes.
explain what happened with this wide receiver thing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, let's be fair. If this was Drew, Jack would be already like ripping Drew a new asshole in Discord about how did you not have a contingency plan? You suck. Like you're a terrible manager. But Jeff keeps winning, despite not having a full roster.
Well,
Kudos
for
to
Jeff,
him.
it's a flex.
Jeff keeps rolling. Next matchup, Drew took down Bird 140 to 99. Drew, his team is well, we're gonna talk about it, but I'll say right now though, Drew's my number one power ranking right now. All the shit talk that he's getting is all fun and I laugh at it and sometimes I indulge in it, but I'm gonna be fair right now. I know Jeff's been putting up numbers. I like where Drew's team is right now. We'll talk about it though. But yeah, Bird, big night on Thursday Night Football. Burrow, um, AJ Brown's coming back into form a little bit, but yeah, he had a big week from Burrow, but it did not mean shit. He didn't even get to 100, so says a lot about his roster, Jeremy.
It really does, Rob. Quarterback gets 40 and you don't even score 100. It's tough. Tough, tough, tough.
Yeah, but Drew's got CMC back. He's got Najee. He's got Joe Mixon. He's got Lamar. He's got London. He's the fourth wide receiver in fantasy right now. D Hop, obviously, with Kansas City. He's going to be probably the number one there on the outside. I mean, his roster is good. So he's got Bucky Irving. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, Spenting. Good job, Drew. Marty took down Alyssa. Marty won. Oh, it's because Alyssa scored 82 and a half points. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Marty Brock Purdy basically carried him. Laporta scored a touchdown, but is injured now. Which one of those picks? I don't know if Goff threw it too early or what, but even though Goff had 5 picks, it is what it is. But yeah, Marty's team, and he started Tim Patrick, who got 0. Marty up and down has the worst roster of anyone in the league.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but good win, Marty. Alyssa, I mean, we had a couple goose eggs on both sides. It was just an ugly game. But that's coming from you and me, who collectively were pretty ugly as well. So just a week of some low scoring matchups, and
It,
mix that in with buys and you have
yeah,
weird stuff, injury season.
yeah. I'm gonna say this real quick before I say anything about that game. You just said about how it was a bad fantasy week. There was one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight of the 12 teams didn't get to 120. And I think six of them didn't reach 100 or something like that. But whatever.
Yep,
Uh,
6. Half the
yep.
teams did not score 100. That's pathetic.
Yeah, that's how bad fantasy was. Yeah. So enough said about that. But yeah, Marty, big win. He needed it. That's a bad loss for Alyssa, though. We have to
It,
talk about that.
it is.
Um,
She's got a
I
big
believe,
showdown.
I believe she was the home team in this matchup. You can't leave. You can't lose that game at home. You know, pretty sure
Uh,
she was the home team.
uh,
Only 82 points, bad week. And that's coming from us, Jeremy. We did not have a good week, but Marty gets a win when he needed one most.
Good job,
So,
Marts.
speaking of a barn burner, Jack blazed by Brenna, 103 to 92. Jeremy, please tell me what happened in this matchup.
I
You
mean,
know,
just another dud. Jack really got carried by James Conner. Austin Eckler scoring 2 touchdowns was huge. But yeah, Jack hasn't been fortunate enough getting enough touchdowns there from Barkley. They got no quarterback in Dallas. Jack's team's hurting. I think Jack needs to make a trade. That's really what he needs to jumpstart his team. I don't know what. Jack, I got 2 tight ends, so I'm openly endorsing a trade to go down. If not with you, with somebody. But yeah, and then Brenna, just overall a tough week. Starting Stafford and fantasy is I don't know, not the best decision. Not best decision, but best candidate out there. But it is what it is with the quarterbacks and people are injured. And yeah, it was an ugly, ugly game. Jake Moody missed 3 field goals. I wish we would have field goal misses showing up as negative points, because that could have really added a crazy element to this game. And I guess, yeah, Atlanta's kicker missed 3 field goals too.
yeah, yeah, both of them. Yeah, both of them. Yeah. But I agree that that would be a fun thing to have for kicking. But Brenna had Kincaid go out, so that obviously hurts her. Never know what would have happened there. Um, let's see, anything else? No, obviously CD Lamb. You said Jack needs to make a trade. I'm assuming you're talking about CD Lamb.
Or move CD Lamb, or he needs a tight end. I got 2 tight ends. You know what I'm saying?
God dang, Jeremy. All right, good enough. All right, moving on. I get Brenna this week. Jack plays uh who cares? Moving on to the next matchup. Shane took down Adam. High scoring matchup. You hate seeing it. You hate when it's you, but you're scoring the second highest points or whatever, and you get you lose to the one person. Yeah, I mean it hurts. Both teams showed out big time. That sucks for Adam. I mean, he had a honestly, like the only thing that sucks is he had Daniel Jones as his quarterback. But I mean, like he still scored 155. Khalil Shakir, boomer bust. Evan Ingram kind of disappointing, not gonna lie there. I think they were saying that he was in a favorable matchup there. But yeah, I mean Shane just a statement. He plugged in ETN, who I think is trash. Kyler with one of the better games he's had all year and probably will have, I think, for this
Well,
fantasy football season. But
Rob, I was
Jamar
just
Chase, let's talk about it. The elephant in the room is Jamar Chase. Okay. Phenomenal. I had him in one league with Joe Burrow. Unbelievable. I had like 160 points or something just between those two players, just with all the scoring. But yeah, phenomenal. Phenomenal game. Congrats, Shane. Sorry, Adam.
yeah, it's a tough one, Adam. Tough pill to swallow. And then the Kyler Murray trade clearly benefited Shane as Kyler drops 30. But yeah, Chase, what a phenomenal game. One of the best games in NFL history.
Yes, sir. All right, that takes us to this week's matchups, Jeremy. Let's get right into it now. Let's talk about we got probably number one and number two in the power rankings. It's Jeff and Drew. Um, both had players going last night. Jeff's up 29.8 to 18.7. Jeff already had Hertz and Goddard go. I'm sure Jeff is pretty disappointed in that. I don't know if he's kind of trolling Drew right now with not having a kicker in.
Probably
Probably
another flex.
probably Jeff being Jeff, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, this matchup, watch out for it. Obviously, right now, Drew looks like he's off to a good start with a strong lineup. Drew survived a CMC pick number one, endured it, made some moves, had a nice draft, and look where he's at right now. He started off 0-2. Now we get CMC back despite all that. One of the reasons why Jeff's team was very successful was because he had the benefit of CMC being out. Well, Jordan Mason's back to being relatively probably better than what he normally is because they're probably going to still ease CMC back a little bit, is my guess. But still, I mean, Achan should be on Drew's team.
Hey,
Achan
chump.
Achan remembers Drew from last year. He's not going to want to hurt Drew. They love each other like butt sex and all that. So, yeah, he's not going to want to do anything. So I'm going to pick Drew in this matchup. Yeah.
Yeah, for the reasons you mentioned in Drew's butt sex, I'm going to pick Jeff.
Yeah.
Drew will be bending the knee. Jeff will get this victory. A chump might be a champ this week. So, well, I think he gets a 1 week to actually reverse Drew and say, listen here, you can't use my name unless you're my owner. So Jeff's going to win.
Jeff. Okay. So, okay. All right. We'll talk about the power rankings here in a minute. All right. Jim is facing Alyssa. This is a big matchup right here, man. Jeff is, or I'm sorry, not Jeff. Jim is 5-5. Alyssa's 3-7. If Alyssa wants to make the playoffs here, she has to get a win here in this matchup after
Yep.
only scoring in the 80s last week, low 80s at that. So
Shot
yeah, I
fired.
mean, she needs to win.
And you know what, Rob? I hate to pick against Jim, but I think she gets it done. And here's why. She's got some of the best running backs of anyone in the league. Kyron Williams is one of the best backs in the NFL and definitely in fantasy too. Puka's back. He's probably not going to get suspended. And, he's been back for a couple of games. We'll see if Cooper plays. Mark Andrews been getting it together. Swift, he gets a good amount of volume. The Bears, honestly, are where I kind of expected them. They were going to fall off. They finally did. But Swift has some fantasy value. But we'll see about Jim's team. Here's kind of the issue. Two top-end wide receivers. Well, Adams might not be anymore, and Hill's not having a great year. But in general, they're both questionable. They're on shitty teams. How much fantasy value are they going to get for the rest of the year is a big question mark for me. But I do like his running backs as well. So I think this comes down to the running backs really, and if any of Jim's top end receivers actually produce.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's simple. I mean, I'm picking Alyssa in this matchup for a lot of the reasons that you just said, but also like Devonte Adams and Tyreek Hill. I need to see it. I know Devonte had like a pretty good game. I think was it 2 games ago?
Yeah.
Maybe it was their last game. Let me see. Um, it was 2 games ago, but that's it though. And Tyreek, until Tyreek can prove to me that he can beat Tyreek, that's still hurting Jim. Alyssa needs this matchup. I'm going with Alyssa.
All right.
All right, next matchup we got Drew or Jack taking on Bird. Let's see, Jack is 6-4 and Bird is 4-6. Um, Obviously, Jack does not have James Conner this week. He plugged in Eckler, and Eckler definitely came out and balled out. Barkley, big week. He's sitting good. His running backs. Oh, well, first of all, he's got a 69% chance to win. So, I
So
mean, it's Jack,
winning.
and that's the probability. So, I mean, it speaks for itself right there. But yeah, I mean, until until I see something with CD Lamb, I don't like CD Lamb at all. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Jack in this matchup. I mean, obviously 51 from your running backs is good. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go with and Burrow just threw or got him 40 whatever points last week. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jack in this matchup. Jack gets it done.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean Jack started off so hot. If I didn't know that info, maybe I would have went with Bird. Gosh. It's like my absence from the pod, and now what am I going to do? Pick Jack to win? I don't know, Rob. That's a tough one for me.
Are you able to do
So
that?
let's see. Is Gibbs going to have a good game? I think so. And he's got K9 back, Kenneth Walker, KW3, whatever you want to call him. Um, Last week I think they had a bye. But yeah, AJ Brown didn't do much. I don't necessarily like DJ Moore. Wasn't he the receiver that went and sat on the bench during a live play? The
DJ is
Bears
not
are,
really having a good year right now. I don't think.
yeah, the Bears are going to fire Eberflus. The Bears, gosh, started off so hot and then just really became a shit show the last month and a half.
Yep.
But
Reality set in.
they did. But in this situation, yeah, I think reality is going to set in. Jackson will win this matchup.
That would be big for Jack. All right. This person just scored over 170 last week. We got Shane taking on Marty. Marty getting that win last week. They both really want this win, obviously, but Shane's 5-5, Marty's 4-6. Um, Shane with a big statement last week, but this week he's only projected for 110. No Malik Neighbors, no Tyrone Tracy, no Kyler Murray. So he's plugging in players trying to get a win. And he gets Marty. Marty needs this win as well. He's 4-6. He's trying to keep his playoff hopes in realistic arm's length, if you will. But yeah, when I'm breaking this down, I like Brock Purdy for Marty against Seattle. If New England scores, I like Stevenson to maybe get in a low scoring game against the Rams, but I don't favor that matchup. James Cook in a matchup against Kansas City, I like. I think they're going to obviously need him at times. Tank Dell, Dallas defense sucks. JSN's been kind of getting better. That might be a shootout against San Francisco. Cole Kmet against Green Bay, tight end. I like that anytime those two teams match up. Yeah, and then the other side, Bo Nix has been a nice surprise. ETN, two thumbs down. Nick Chubb, I think he'll start looking better coming off the bye. Chase off that monster game. McLaurin, big disappointment. That might be a deciding factor there.
Yeah, it's
Kittle, we already
tough.
touched. Yeah, Kittle, we already talked about it in the San Francisco game. Waddle, he's been playing pretty good since Tua's came back. So this is gonna be a good matchup. I'm actually gonna go with Marty in this matchup. I do like.
Wow.
I know. I do like his what he's got going on in certain games within the game this week on his roster. So I'm gonna give my brother a big win here. Playing Shane after he just scored 170, but he's got a lot of bench people in. He's got a lot of bench people in. So I'm gonna go with my brother in a must-win spot.
Wow, Rob. That's a compelling case. Um, Dang, Marty. If it's in the game, it's in the game. I do like that, Rob.
EA Sports.
I know, baby.
TV.
That's what that made me think of. Oh, there we go. Bob's in the zone. I'll tell you what. Yeah, this might be a good matchup for Marty to steal a win. As much as I said he has a worse roster top to bottom. I still think that's true. Although I do think Shane is going to win. I mean, he's got Chase, he's got Chubb, he's got Nix, he's got ETN and Waddle. I'm not a fan of Keenan Allen for Marty and Stevenson, whatever. Purdy might have a decent day. He's been a pretty good fantasy QB, but kind of crazy. Mahomes in fantasy is benchable. And Marty, I'm not, yeah, I mean, that's the right move. I'm not even saying that it's crazy. They were talking, the fantasy people talking about this weeks ago, but it's kind of crazy to see it happen in real life. I digress. I think Chublik enemy gets it done over the King, but I wouldn't be surprised if Marty snatches a victory. This is the type of win Marty would really have. This is a 20 tackle Catholic Central type game in the rain. Marty likes it in the trenches, so yeah, this is a coin flip. Honestly, if we had a game day, that's probably the matchup we'd be at. We would purposely snub Jeff and Drew.
All right, so we differ on this one. You're taking Shane. I'm
Yep.
sticking with Marty. All right. Next matchup, we're gonna do my matchup with Brenna. So yeah, big matchup here. Brenna kind of like Alyssa needs a win. She is 3-7. I'm 6-4 off that bad week last week. I don't know why I have these still on. But yeah, so Brenna obviously picked up Herbert. Her roster did get better throughout the year. Obviously, I'm picking me in this matchup. Um, my team, bad performance last week. They're going to bounce back this week. And fortunately, they're playing a Brenna team that I don't think it's at their best. Yeah, she's not going to have Kincaid. Um, there's a way. There's a few scenarios where I could see some of her players boom because I feel like that's what her roster is right here, except for Kamara. Um, it's boom or bust players on her starting lineup. I feel like for the most
Yep.
part. I mean, Jaden Reed's been pretty solid, but he's been pretty boom or bust at times. So there's
Yeah.
ways that she can. There's ways that she can take me down, but I think this week after last week's performance, who do you want? I mean, it's kind of like you get banged up by if you're like Northwestern, or Michigan rather, and you just had like a big physical matchup. Who do you want? Like, what's a good pick me up spot? Well, this is what I got here. I think my
Northwestern.
guys, yeah, I think my guys are going to come in here. I think they're going to take care of business. Um, yeah, I don't have much to say. I'm not hating on her team. She's been making improvements, but yeah, this is where big. I need the win. I'm going to get the win this week.
Yeah. Yeah, really, she would need a huge performance from her running backs, which Kamara's been pretty consistent. But yeah, top to bottom, you got the better team. You got three great running backs and Justin Jefferson. Debo, kind of a punk bitch move going after the long snapper or even poor Jake Moody. Be better, Debo Samuel.
I agree, but I like that fire. He's gonna have a big game this week. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, team. Let me go make it up to you.
let's hope so. Debo, quit being a bitch. But Rob, yeah, you got a great team. Only thing I would ask for is just let me wrestle Monty away from you.
Hey, Monty is on the table at the right. I'll tell you this though. Here's the thing. One of the things, and I don't care if I do this on the pod. The thing that sucks if I get rid of Monty, which I'm not saying I wouldn't, is Taylor and Henry have a bye on week 14 going into the playoffs. I like that and I hate it. I like it in the fact that I think I'm going to be in the playoffs and they're going to have rest going into the playoffs for me, coming back fresh. But it also leaves me vulnerable on week 14. But I'm not saying that I wouldn't trade him. He is on the table. But anyway, thank you. I do like my team, and I'm not going to lie. I've already started thinking about playoffs, like playoff matchups for next
Playoffs?
playoffs. Can't make it. Can't win a game. Can't even score 92 points. Talking about playoffs.
Playoffs?
But no, I do like where my team's at. This week, let's start getting things hopefully going in the right direction towards the playoffs and stay healthy. Most of all, obviously, there's going to be injuries. Let's face it. Like right now, like you want to avoid like injuries that are gonna like get one of your players out for the rest of the season. I mean, that is devastating shit right now because yeah, it would suck, and I really hope it doesn't happen to me. I don't want it to happen to anybody. Let's be fair. I like seeing good players on the field. So
Yes, sir.
yeah. But that leaves us with one matchup left, Jeremy, and it is your matchup. You are coming on strong right now, my friend. I think I brought it up in a week or maybe 2 weeks ago. I said, Jeremy, your team's different now. Look going forward. Uh, I could see you making a run, and I believe you've won what, two in a row?
I have my first winning streak of the year. It's been pretty amazing. Obviously, I got lucky last week, but I was able to capitalize. And this is a huge matchup for me. I really need to keep winning to have a chance. Maybe I could trip up one more time, but reality is there's me, Brenna, Alyssa, I think have 3 wins, and then there's several teams with 4. So I really got to come on strong here. I've really got to sure up my RB2, but it is what it is. I got Madison going this week, so I'm hoping he get some catches. I'm actually making I don't know if it's a bold move, but I did start Wilson. I just didn't expect Jaden. He's a great player, but Eagles are still pretty good. So we'll see how Russell does against
Hey,
Baltimore. But
Russ has been playing great.
yeah,
Let's face
but
it.
no, my team's
Everyone thought
been
his career was dead when he was at Denver. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Russ is back. But yeah, really, I got three strong receivers, and Kelsey's been coming on. So, um, yeah, too bad I couldn't play 2 tight ends and 4 wide receivers. My team would be great.
Good. Yeah,
But
for sure. No, but honestly, Jeremy, you kind of nailed it. Like I do like your team where it's at right now. If I'm being completely
yeah,
honest with you, I
yeah,
mean your
we're
team's
trending.
yeah, your team's pretty solid. Your running backs are still a little weak, and you know that.
Mhm.
That's why obviously you've been trying to, as you said, make trades to get money from me. But yeah, looking at Adam though here, I mean, he's got CJ
I-
Stroud playing that Dallas defense, which is pretty porous right now. You got Micah Parsons calling out Mike McCarthy. Who knows what that locker room even looks like? Here's sounds like rather. If he's saying that to the media, there's probably players in the locker room that are having player conversations that are saying the same thing. They probably believe all that. So that locker room might be terrible right now. So I like CJ Stroud to at least obviously win the game, but I think he's going to throw for a couple. Chase Brown's been a nice surprise, obviously. Kareem Hunt's been a nice pickup. Yeah, DK's back in there healthy. George Pickens has been a nice surprise in a big game against Baltimore. Evan Ingram against Detroit. I could see Ingram having a pretty good game against Detroit. They're going to be down. They're going to need to throw the ball. Evan Ingram, I feel like, is a nice little safety blanket. He's athletic.
Mac Jones.
I
Bleh.
know, but check down, whatever, man. I think Ingram could have a good fantasy game.
You're not wrong
Uh,
there. Yep.
but yeah, I'm gonna go with you, Jeremy. I'm gonna roll with you. You got
Woo!
you got you got momentum going. And here's the thing, Jeremy. Last week, after you won your second week in a row, I heard that one of my sources told me that you were after the week and you won, you gave a pep talk speech to your team in the locker room, and it was something like, "You guys won last week. You guys won this week. If you win next week, that's called a winning streak." And it has happened before. And I think that because of that speech and where your team's at right now, you will get the win over Adam coming up here this weekend. So I do have you, my friend.
I love it. Uh, my team's story is that of the Lions versus the Texans on Sunday night,
Yes,
which
yes.
is through
Yeah.
all the adversity, keep battling till the end.
All right, so let's recap the standings real quick. We got Jeff 9-1, Drew behind him at 7-3. Then you got both me and Jack at 6-4. We got 3 5-5 teams. That's Shane, Adam, and Jim. The eighth team right now is a tie. Well, not a tie, but it's Bird and Marty at 4-6. Then we got 3 3-7 teams, all different in their own ways, all have momentum going in different directions. That is Alyssa, Jeremy, and Brenna And let's go into the power rankings right now, Jeremy.
Okay.
I mentioned that in my opinion, I have Drew at number one right now. In ESPN, it says Jeff, but I have basically my five are Drew, Jeff, Jack, me, and then Shane or Jim. Shane's got like the ability to boom or bust. Jim's got to get some stuff going. But yeah, those are my five right now. Jeremy, if you win this week, there might be, even though you're a losing record, if you have an impressive week, you've already proven to win. Like when it gets ugly, can you win when it gets pretty, high scoring? So we'll see.
Yes. Well, Rob, I agree with most of what you said. The only difference is the number one team is Jeff. He will continue to be the number one team. He will win his 10th game of the season and be one of the few teams that has won 10 games in the regular season. He's having an epic season, and I expect it to continue, especially against Drew. Oh, yeah, he can be number two in the power rankings. And then, yeah, then I think it's really you and Jack. And then, Shane's team has had a tough loss. Adams did too. I'd say that they're the next two teams. Jim's team's kind of been a downward spiral. Same thing with Bird. I think Marty's team is the worst. If you didn't catch that, I've said that at least three times for the record. um, Alyssa, she's given up the most points, so that's tough. And then there's me and Brenna, and Brenna beat me. So, point being, there's a lot of parity, except at the top, where, yeah, I'll admit, Drew is one of the top two teams. I'll give him that much.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we can both agree on that. But Jeff did already clinch the playoff spot, so he is to be interested to see when does he start resting players for the playoff push. It could get really interesting down the stretch there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean he might, he's been bold before, not even playing full rosters. He might just put in backup players just to rest the starting players. You just don't know with Jeff. He does goofy stuff. But yeah, that is pretty much going to wrap it up this week in the fantasy portion of the Forward Down the Field podcast. Jeremy, good luck this week and go
You too, brother.
Lions.
Go Lions.
Stop recording.